Is your MacBook Air M2 feeling a little sluggish? Don't worry, I've got you covered. You know that feeling, right? You open a bunch of apps, everything starts to lag, and the fans sound like a jet engine about to take off. It's frustrating, especially when you know your M2 is capable of so much more. Today, I'm revealing 3 secret ways to supercharge your MacBook's speed. We're not talking about the usual close your apps advice, this is next level stuff. These are the tweaks and tricks I use personally to keep my MacBook running smooth as butter, even when I'm pushing it to the limit. Ready to unlock the full power of your M2? Let's dive in. First up, let's tackle those sneaky background processes that slow you down. You see, even when you think you've closed everything, there's a whole lot happening behind the scenes on your Mac. Apps running updates, notifications popping up, things syncing in the background. They all eat up precious processing power. Now, there's a handy little tool built right into your Mac that gives you a peek behind the curtain. It's called Activity Monitor, and it's like the mission control for your Mac's performance. To fire it up, just hit Command plus Spacebar to bring up Spotlight Search, then type Activity Monitor and hit Enter. Boom! Just like that, you've got a real-time view of everything happening on your system. You'll see a bunch of tabs at the top: CPU, Memory, Energy, Disk, and Network. We're going to focus on the CPU tab for now, as this shows you which processes are hogging your processor. Take a look at the list. See anything you recognize? Maybe it's that web browser you thought you closed, or a game you haven't played in a while. Sometimes, apps can glitch out and start using way more CPU than they should. If you spot any resource hogs, here's what you do. Click on the process you want to quit, then hit the X button in the top left corner of the Activity Monitor window. You'll get a warning asking if you're sure you want to quit the process. If you're confident you don't need it running, go ahead and click Force Quit. Now, a word of caution. Don't go around force quitting every process you don't recognize. Some of them are essential for your Mac to run smoothly. If you're not sure what something does, it's best to leave it be or do a quick Google search first. But for those pesky apps that are clearly slowing you down, force quitting them can make a world of difference. You'll be surprised how much snappier your Mac feels after you've cleared out the clutter. But wait, there's more. We can actually take this optimization a step further. Remember those apps that like to run in the background even after you've closed them? Let's put a stop to that. Head over to System Settings by clicking on the Apple logo in the top left corner of your screen, then selecting System Settings. Next, click on General in the sidebar, then select Login Items. Here's where things get interesting. You'll see a list of all the apps that launch automatically when you start up your Mac. Some of these might be apps you use all the time, but others might be sneaky resource hogs you had no idea were even running. To prevent an app from launching at startup, simply click on it in the list, then click on the minus button below the list. Just like that, you've prevented that app from slowing down your Mac startup process. Now I know what you're thinking. What about the apps I actually want to launch at startup? No worries, you can customize this list to your liking. To add an app, just click on the plus button and select the app you want from your applications folder. By optimizing your background processes, you're essentially giving your Mac a performance boost without spending a dime. It's like clearing out the cobwebs and letting your M2 chip breathe a sigh of relief. Your Mac runs best when it has enough space to breathe. Let's clean it up. Think of your Mac's storage like a closet. If it's jam-packed with stuff, it's going to be tough to find what you need, and everything's going to feel cluttered and slow. The same goes for your Mac's memory, or RAM. It's like your Mac's workspace. The more free space it has, the faster it can process information. So, let's declutter and optimize, shall we? First things first, let's see how much storage space you're actually using. Click on the Apple logo in the top left corner of your screen, then select About This Mac. Next, click on the Storage tab. You'll see a colorful bar graph showing you how much storage you've used, and what's taking up the most space. Now here's where the magic happens. Apple has built in some really handy tools to help you free up storage space. Click on the Manage button next to the storage bar graph. This will take you to a new window with a bunch of optimization options. On the left-hand side, you'll see different categories like Applications, Documents, Music, Photos, and more. Click on each category to see what's taking up space. For example, under Applications you might find apps you haven't used in ages. To delete an app, simply click on it in the list, then click the Delete button. Easy peasy. You can also use this interface to delete large files, clear your Downloads folder, and empty your trash. But wait, there's more. Remember I mentioned optimizing your Mac's memory? Well, there's a cool trick you can use to free up RAM and give your Mac a little speed boost. It's called purging your Mac's inactive memory. Now, don't worry, this doesn't delete anything important. It simply clears out data that your Mac isn't actively using, freeing up RAM for more important tasks. Now, for the pro tip, you can actually automate this entire process. That's right, you can set your Mac to automatically optimize storage and memory in the background, so you don't have to lift a finger. To enable this feature, head back to the Storage tab and About This Mac. See that little checkbox at the bottom that says, Optimize Storage? Go ahead and check that box. Now your Mac will automatically remove watched iTunes movies, old email attachments, and other files you don't need, freeing up space behind the scenes. By freeing up storage and optimizing memory, you're essentially giving your Mac a performance tune-up. It's like taking it for a spin on the Autobahn. It can finally stretch its legs and run at its full potential. Alright, it's time to unlock some pro-level tweaks using Terminal. Don't worry, it's simpler than it sounds. Now I know what you're thinking. Terminal? That black screen with the white text? It looks kind of intimidating, right? But trust me, Terminal is your secret weapon for unlocking hidden features and squeezing every ounce of performance out of your MacBook Air M2. With a few simple commands, you can bypass the limitations of the user interface and tweak settings that Apple doesn't normally let you touch. But before we dive in, a word of caution. Terminal is powerful, so it's important to use it responsibly. Always double-check the commands you're entering, and if you're ever unsure about something, it's best to err on the side of caution and do some research before hitting enter. With that said, let's get started. First, open Terminal by hitting Command plus Spacebar to bring up Spotlight Search, then type Terminal and hit enter. You'll see a blank window with a blinking cursor. That's your cue to start typing commands. Our first pro tweak is going to speed up the animations on your Mac. You know those smooth transitions when you open and close apps, or switch between desktops. They look nice, but they can also introduce a bit of lag, especially if you're used to things being super snappy. To speed up these animations, copy and paste the following command into Terminal, then hit Enter Bash Defaults. Write ns global domain ns window resize time float 0.1. This command tells your Mac to shorten the duration of window resizing animations to 0.1 seconds. You can adjust this value to your liking. A lower value means faster animations. To make the change take effect, you'll need to log out and log back into your Mac. Once you do, you'll notice that windows open and close much faster, giving your Mac a snappier feel. Next up, let's disable the dashboard. Remember that feature that used to be a swipe away, showing you widgets and stuff? Yeah, it's still there, lurking in the background, and it can actually slow things down. To disable the dashboard, copy and paste the following command into Terminal, then hit Enter Bash Defaults. Write com.apple.dashboard msex disabled boolean yes. This command tells your Mac to disable the dashboard completely. You won't see it in Mission Control or when you swipe left with 3 fingers. And just like that, you've freed up a tiny bit of RAM and processing power. To re-enable the dashboard, simply replace yes with no in the command above and run it again in Terminal. Now for our final pro tweak, let's optimize the way your Mac handles file deletions. By default, when you delete a file, it's not actually erased from your hard drive right away. Instead, it's marked for deletion, and the space it occupied is eventually overwritten with new data. This process can take a bit of time, and it can also lead to fragmentation, which can slow down your Mac over time, but there's a Terminal command that can help. It's called, and it stands for Secure Remove. When you use to delete a file, it's overwritten with random data multiple times, making it virtually impossible to recover. This also helps to prevent fragmentation and keep your storage drive running smoothly. To use, simply open Terminal, type, followed by a space, and then drag and drop the file or folder you want to delete into the Terminal window. Hit Enter, and the file will be securely deleted. Now, a word of caution is a powerful command, and once you delete a file using this method, it's gone for good. So be absolutely sure that you want to delete a file before using this command. These are just a few examples of the pro-level tweaks you can unlock using Terminal. There's a whole world of customization and optimization waiting for you behind that black screen, so don't be afraid to explore and experiment. And that's it. 3 secret ways to boost your MacBook Air M2's speed. Simple, effective, and super powerful. From optimizing background processes to freeing up storage and even diving into the depths of Terminal, you've learned how to take control of your Mac's performance and unleash its full potential. Which tip worked best for you, or do you have your own secret hacks? Drop them in the comments. I'm always down to learn new ways to optimize and tweak. If this video helped, smash that like button, hit subscribe, and share it with fellow Mac users. Let's keep our Macs running at full speed.